Okay, there it is. There we are. Hello, hello, everybody. Hello, every single one who decided to congregate today for the sake of cultivation. Hello, we are really going to start where once again, yes, we are going to avoid every human desire. We are going to stick with the traditions. We are going back to our roots, to the part that we need the most, to the mental cultivation, to the sanity cultivation. We need to go back. We need to remember everything. We need to have presence of mind. We need to be well. Now, without further delay, let me first and foremost thanks every single lurker or dear bot watchers, everyone who decided to watch today's stream, be it while it was streaming or because they wanted to watch the work. As always, you should know this is going to not be an easy, but also not a horrible experience. This will be, if you're able to endure it, something that will make you sharper. Now, let's start with the first part of this. Let me just in case check that everything is working. Okay. We shall add the first part to this, and that is this. Now let me close this, and also now, after taking a deep breath, preparing the mind, and knowing that the cascade is coming, let the sounds flow. Here they are. Oh, okay. Here we are. Now we can really say we started. We can really think we are there. We can really have in mind what is going to happen. You can hear me, and at the same time there is calmness, there is chaos, there is everything present. As once again we have it all going on. Why? Because we needed to go back to here. It was necessary. It was important for us. We needed to chill. We needed to remember. We needed to take our time and think about stuff. This is not a place where you let the desires win. This is the place where we literally go against anything else. We go against every single bad part of the mind. And today we are congregated here not because it is a casualty, because we needed to be here. Here every single thing happening. It is a lot. It is always gone. Yet we are still here. We are able to sustain this experience. We are able to endure. We are physically, mentally capable of staying for a long time. Even if it might not seem that easy. Even if it might not seem the best thing to do. You can always know that you have the possibility of staying, that no matter what is going to happen, no matter how difficult it seems, you can always start something from here. Now, we rejoice in the reality, we rejoice in the fact that we decided, first of all, to pay attention to what we needed to take care of. It is important to notice the floods that fill their day-to-day life, because when one does so, it is time we can start acting upon them. If we never really try to understand what the problems are, we might never even understand how to start solving them, so to speak. It is only when you find that chaos and when you find that convoluted coincidence of events to be real that you really have the possibility of starting anything. It is only when you really start to take things with a different mindset that you start to see where you should start acting. It is not in the act of taking responsibility that we become responsible, but rather in the act of changing that we become responsible. Because every single one of us can say we are responsible, but what really matters is the actions that we take, is the different kind of courses that we end up going for throughout life. It is not something as easy as simply saying, yeah, I have been working on this. It is rather a difficult slope where one has to sustain and keep going forward. As we, in a sense, has discussed before, it is not in the hand of those who never even tried to be here. It is not in the hands of those who never really made any amendment to try and get ready for what was coming to their lives, but rather it was in the reality of those who accepted their fate, and even while knowing what was going to happen, they kept going forward. That is one very important part of life. In a sense, we can say this: you can always let go of everything that is around you, but it is in the act of sustaining and keep going forward that you find how incredibly joyful can be life. It is not something easy, and it won't always be the greatest thing you will ever experience, so to speak. But if you have the possibility of noticing how beautiful everything can at any given point feel, it is that in 10 seconds you, so to speak, start taking control, and when you start accepting the incredible weight of everything that is around you as something that is in your hands, in a sense, you also notice how beautiful it is when those things that you try to change end up changing for the better. Because not every single thing will really change. It is impossible to think that not every single thing will go the way that we want. It is also something that we need to accept. But it is rather in the fact that we are working towards every single part of the daily life. It is in the act of realizing how much more advanced we are than what we really think of ourselves that we find enjoyment. It is not in the despise of what others have. It is not in the despise of what we are not currently doing, because it is impossible for us to do so. It is not in the act of hating. It is not in the act of having remorse. It is only in the act of observing, understanding, accepting, and letting those things become part of you. It is only, in a sense, as we have understood recently, when you accept everything as well, and everything that cannot be simply calculated as something that will happen, that you realize how incredibly joyful life becomes. It is when you start to take things with a rather calm mind that you find how beautiful everything can become. It is not in the act of despairing. It is not in the act of fighting everything. It is rather in the act of taking things one at a time. It is in the act of understanding that we can do it. We only need to slow down sometimes. We need to revisit from where is it that we're trying to do anything. We need to take every single part as slowly as we can. We need to be chill. We need to be present. We need to work, yet at the same time enjoy it all. And now, let me say hello to Kronk Rock. I hope you are able to extract anything joyful from here. As we have said before, this is a place where one can rest the mind, when one can finally, for a second, take a deep breath and accept that we are working. Now it is time to realize how much we have worked. It is time, if it is needed, to take accountability about our actions and to accept that we sometimes might be slacking, but at other times it might be also possible and needed, so to speak, to understand how incredible we are. It is not in the act of despising anything that one can really see the advances. It is only in the act of stopping, observing from an outsider perspective, and completely putting into a real consideration how much we did in a matter of seconds, years, decades, that we really only there see how much we have advanced. Sometimes, so to speak, we have a certain problem, and that is we end up not understanding how time works. We end up not really realizing that sometimes a second cannot be more than a second. But if you're able to accept that, you also understand how much you can do in a collection of them, in a collection of seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, years. It is only when you stop, when you think, and when you realize how incredibly powerful is the part that makes every single thing come all together. It is only in the moment that you observe how everything really ended up forming what you really wanted, that you notice how beautiful it is. It is not in the act of simply trying to say, trying to dispel, or trying to lie sometimes to our own minds about how everything is going so bad. It is rather in the moment that we can see how even if anything else has been happening, we are still going. It is in the act of appreciating how every part of this becomes so important that almost nobody can really try to tell to you you are doing it incorrectly, because it is not in what others say, but rather in what you know, in what you feel, in what you understand deep in your mind is real, that we find comfort for once, that we, so to speak, can completely live on faith free. Why? Because it is not the idea of everything being already written, everything being something that we cannot change, but rather the possibility of always having in our hands every part, every single moment, every single possibility that we really find an enjoyment, we really find an activity we can really keep going for, we can really say we are working towards a goal that is not the goal itself that brings you satisfaction, but rather the simple act of working for that you really find interesting, that you really find rewarding, that you really find calming. It is when you understand and when you appreciate how, in a sense, everybody has it hard, so to speak, and if you can accept that you also will have it hard, but it is in you to decide how hard you will be on yourself, how hard you will let things feel sometimes. It is in those moments, it is in those realities, it is in those realizations that we really take control or let go of it. Because not everybody is made for that. Not everybody will be completely able to understand it at first. But it is also a quality that we need to appreciate. If you really let yourself grow, you will find that with enough time you will become able to do what you want. It is not in the idea of wanting to speed up things, it is not in the idea of wanting to make things worse for yourself, and it is not in the idea of letting others push you down. It is only in the concept of having the capacity to decide every single part. And yes, it is unavoidably huge. It is, in a sense, the biggest responsibility because, and this I will directly quote myself, it is not that anything is not important, it is rather that every single part of life matters so incredibly much we cannot completely grasp it until we have the possibility of seeing it from the past. But you do not need to worry about what you are not seeing. You need to worry about what you can do to start seeing more. You need to start worrying about what you can start changing to work toward those things that you really want. Because in reality the problem, or not even the problem, the simple reality is we know we have things we want to do. How much we really feel like sacrificing for them. How much time, how much, as I have said before, how much seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months are you going to sacrifice for your objectives? Are you really ready to devote your whole life to only one thing? Are you really convinced that whatever you are going to work is going to be the best? Because it is in the moment that you can confidently, without even anybody else, so to speak, sway you to saying a no, but rather being completely sure that yes, this is correctly as this person is saying. I am completely right. I will do whatever I can, whatever it is at my disposal to get this. I will work on it, and I will work on it no matter how hard it is. I will work on it no matter how many people left me. No, I will work on it no matter how much others tell me that what I am doing is not valuable. I will work on it because I want to work on it, and because I enjoy it, or at the very least, because I know that what I am doing right now, even if it is not enjoyable by itself, it ends up becoming enjoyable once we really appreciate what we have to strive for. And it is not always easy. It won't never be easy. It is stupid to hear the idea of yes, I had it so easy, and compare your situation to others. As I have said so many times, every single one of us has, in a sense, already reached the point where we're almost completely unique. Or if you are even a little bit more developed, you already know that your whole life is replicable. What you have gone through will, no matter what, never be replicated in the history of humanity. Therefore, it lies in you to realize that what others, what the external influences are going for, what the external parts say, it is the norm, is not important. It is not part of what you need to intake, and it is not part of something that we need. It is, so to speak, a poison, and in this case, it is one of the poisons that we need to dispose of. Why? When you let your mind be weighed down by those completely damaging ideas, it is that you realize how much tiredness you find throughout your days, how much worse you end up feeling, how much completely wrong everything feels. Why? Because you're not paying attention to what you have to do. You're rather letting others simply tell based on their experiences what, how, when, and if you should change things, when in reality we are trying to establish completely clear it is only in your hands, and it is only in your mind, in your body, in your knowledge, in the possibilities that you will have in the future, and in the experiences that you already had in the past, in the whole collection that makes you who you are, realize and understand by yourself how much you will be really or not able to achieve. Why? We won't really, at any single point, give way or, so to speak, let others persuade us from living what we want. Why? The idea, as we have said before, is if you are convinced, if you really know what you are trying to do is worth it, do not let anything change your course. Do not let things move differently. Do not let the clocking of the time stop you. Do not let any kind of negative idea be a part of what you are trying to do. Only process and only accept things from the observer's perspective. Why? Because it is correct. You might need to deal with some critique. You might need to deal with some negative parts. Some people who, in a sense, is almost completely negative. But as we have told before, you need to humanize things. You need to understand. Nobody is really out there hurting others because they want to. We don't stop to think about others as humans. We don't stop to visualize them and to understand how much pain they might be going through. Therefore, we think it is completely okay for us to go and tell completely nasty, dark, and almost incoherent stuff to others. Why? Because we only want a reaction. We might want the reaction even. Therefore, it is also those who has the capabilities of realizing those problems to understand that you need to forgive them. It won't give you any healing, it won't give you any good, it won't save you any time, or it won't really free you from any different kind of weight if you let what others are trying to do, what others are trying you to be, whatever is happening, persuade you from what you are really trying, because it is, as I have been saying, also in you the possibility of realizing how much it is that they really mean or do not mean what they are saying, what is the real intent behind what they are saying. And the problem, and in this case we have to accept it, is we need to put time, we need to dedicate, so to speak, our life to this path, and it is not problematic by itself, but rather what we do not know might end up happening to us, the attachment that we have to the present self, the desires and the completely logical ideas that we allow in our minds. Those are the paths that we allow to shape how we are really going to act. When being truthful, in reality, it only matters how much we are willing to do. You have, so to speak, no problem that you cannot tackle, but if you allow others to become an immovable object for you, you will end up learning sooner rather than later that you were wrong. And the problem is not that you were wrong, therefore it is bad. The problem is that you learn you were wrong. You learn it after spending time. You learn it after having gone through the process and after having realized how much easier it could have been for you if you accepted that it was in your hands to try and change anything at all. But, as we like to say, you do you. We cannot influence others, we cannot move how they think, we cannot completely remove ideas from the mind of anybody else. It is only in us, it is only in our mind, it is only in our presence, it is only in our acceptance that we let things influence or not influence us. As in this case, for example, hello, Mr. Someone. Hello, I hope you enjoy your stay here, because we are really, once again, taking a deep path into the ideas, into the concepts that we have been working on. We are going back, we are analyzing stuff, and we are processing it. not because we really try to get any kind of major thing, because only us completely know how important it is to accept the ordeal of working and own yourselves now how much importance it might have to really try and solve the problems in our life, to keep working on towards those things that we want, towards those objectives that we know we have to fulfill. We need to be happy. But if ourselves do not allow us to be happy, it will be impossible to be happy. Why? Happiness doesn't come from the outside. And now, let me ask you, Xavier Grilli, what's going on? What do you want to ask? Do you have any question at all? Do you prefer to stay meditating? There is no problem in any kind of choosing that you do. We only welcome you. We accept that you are here. And we, so to speak, give our time to you. Because we know that everybody deserves it. But if we do not accept the idea of that, it is also problematic. Yes, we are absorbed. Thank you for being here. Then, let me continue. As I have been saying, it is incredibly important for you to see, to process, and to let it be. Why? Nobody else has the possibility of making you happy. Nobody else will give you those things that you want, but only you. You might already in a sense have them sometimes. It is not completely true that everybody is born with what they desire already. But it is also not completely false. It is only the acceptance of sometimes it is real, with some things it is a given, and with others it is still a hardship that we need to endure. And the problem is also how we accept things, how we let them be, and nothing can really change us. Yes, that is the idea. That is the funny part about this. If you really want to focus, you might want to focus. You might increase the volume. You might try to change things. If you really are struggling, we will try to change them. If you really feel like making it easy on you, we will try to change things. Are you willing to take that risk? Whatever you desire, we might try to do. But it is up to you to really keep going. Nobody else knows this, my dear friend. We are not forcing you. We are not forcing anything here. Please, if you feel uncomfortable, do not even shy away from the idea of saying it. There is no need to remain silent, when in reality, sometimes everyone is willing to hear, but us are not willing to tell how we are feeling. It is us or yes, it is us. It is always us who do not accept the change. But if we let it come to us, it will happen. And it might hurt, but it hurts more to never try to change anything at all. It hurts more to never try to work on anything at all. The pain is existence, yes, but it doesn't mean that existence can also be happy. It is in the balance of things that you find, it is in the balance of ideas that you let be, and it is in the completion of a satisfaction and on the maintenance of your own well-being that you realize how important everything is. Because nobody can really show you why is everything connected. Potato cannot really show you how important it is to wake up every single day, do your daily diligences, and to, let's say, think. But if you find that it is real, and if you find the possibility, the necessity, and the obligation that you have with yourself of working on stuff, it will be in your hand to have an easier time, because this isn't about only suffering or suffering less. It is about really having a great time. It is life what really comes to us, and it is how we see it that really makes us feel anything at all. Life can be one of the greatest experiences that we can have, and the broad term is there because it means that literally every single part of life can be the most joyous thing. But are we willing to sacrifice time? Are we willing to try and work on anything at all? Are we willing to put the time? As I have said before, it is not a matter of seconds, it is not a matter of minutes, it is not a matter of hours, it might not even be a matter of days or weeks. It is a long process, and if you accept that, yet keep going, it is in that moment that you realize, and in that process that you also understand how incredibly beautiful can everything be. You cannot observe and you cannot intake what others tell you if you close your mind. You cannot engage in a real conversation with anybody if you do not work for those parts. You cannot do anything at all if you are not willing. But how much do you notice that you are not willing to those things is the real thing that you can change. How much do you notice who you end up becoming your biggest problem is the realization that hurts the more but liberates you the most. And it is also in the acceptance of that pain that you grow, that everybody grows, because we are not free from it. As I have said before, it is unavoidable, but you have the possibility of freeing yourself from that if you work on it. You have the possibility of making everything less. You have the possibility of enjoying your time, and you have the possibility of becoming a version that you might not even be able to visualize right now. So incredibly capable of changing every single detail that even you yourself, from the moment of this idea entering your mind, might be surprised on the thing that you're capable of becoming in the future. It is only us the real necessity of change, and it is only in the acceptance of change that we find a real motivation for it. If you let others tell you that you are fine, you will stay stagnant, and stagnant water does not create any real fruit. Stagnant water doesn't give to any plant what they need, and if you want to be not someone helpful, but rather something with a purpose, you will need to work on that. As every single body, every single one, all of the humans on earth have to do. It is unavoidable, but how you approach that idea, how you let it come to fruition, and how you keep going for that same concept are completely up to you. You can find your way on religion, you can find your way on a industrial revolution that you want to create, you can find your way on creating content, you can find your way on giving classes to others, you can find your way in a classroom, in a car, being someone important, being another cog in the machine of the society. You can find your way. If you right now feel despair, it only means that you haven't really found it. But it is important to always know every single one has the capacity of adapting, and even if it feels too much right now, only when you accept the weight of your own dimension and your own mind, you realize how much you can achieve. Why? And why never surrender in this case? Think about it as this way. There are only two things that are certain in this life. That you were born and that you are going to die. If you try to change when you are going to die, you cannot change if you were born. But if you change when you are going to die, you miss the opportunity of everything else. You miss the opportunity of finding somebody who found hope on you. You miss the opportunity of finding somebody who fell in love with you. You miss the opportunity of finding in yourself so much enjoyment in life that you for a moment feel like you never want to go, that you never want to die, that you want to be immortalized. You have so many capacities, yet it is in the fear of realizing how really we can accept and work on things, how much we really try. It is in the fear, because it is also beautiful to see that shadow from afar, but a lot of times we also cherish the idea of being someone who does so much. It literally is never bad to work on what you want, on what you desire, what you feel like doing, that you really can enjoy things. It is the examples that were already given to every single one of us. If these people, if this guy, if this individual was able to do so much just because it felt like doing so, how much more somebody with such a precious mind can achieve? Why? Why let yourself be swayed by negative ideas? As we have said before, if you understand that the ideas are only there and it is in your hand to make them not seem so big of a deal, you will learn to sail and you will learn to go towards the life that you really want. But, as always, it doesn't mean that you are doing bad. It only means that if what you are hearing, if what you are thinking is in a sense hurtful, simply you need to work, and it is okay. Every single one of us might feel burdened, because it is normal. We cannot really realize completely how the whole reality around us works. But if we have the possibility of, at the very least, keep going for what we desire to become, what we desire to show, to let our descendants have, if we find real purpose in life, even the darkest of the days will feel like nothing. And when you go back and see in the future how sad you were, you will also understand how important it was for the growth. You cannot negate the pain, as I have said before, but you can always extract things from it. With that, I don't think for today I have anything else to say. I really thanks every single one of you who stayed, and now we shall try at the very first to calm the mind. I will recommend you maybe to take a deep breath, to go a little bit slower if you feel like it. Breathe in, breathe out. Now we're back. Now, once again, we shall work on those things we know we need to work. And even if you do not feel like it is real, know that somebody out there is really thankful from what you're doing. Please keep doing that. And if you haven't found your objective, your completely real objective thing to do, thing to achieve, please also keep working. Nobody really wishes anybody else to be dead. It only comes to us the realization that it is so painful for others. We need to have love. So yes, thank you. Simply thank you. Thank you as always. As I have been saying every single time, thank you for lurking. Thank you for hearing. Thank you for taking your time to be here. Thank you for watching the world if you decided to watch it instead of watching it in real or while it was transmitting. Thank you for saying something. Thank you. Simply thank you. It might not seem that much, but really thank you. Now we shall depart once again. We shall find somebody and we shall leave. Why? Because it has come to an end. This is the closure for today. Now, as one will say, time to go back to the mundane. Time to let us be. While keep striving for those things we know we want, time to keep enjoying. Never forget to enjoy, but also never indulge into reality. Never lose yourself. So yes, with that, let me find somebody. And well, oh my fucking god. Well, that's it. Now we really are finishing. Thank you as always. As I have said before, really thank you. It is completely beautiful to see that you're able to sustain that. So yes, I hope you have a great night, great day, great whatever it is. Now we shall try to rate somebody. Why? Because, as I have said before, everybody deserves some love. Now we're going to let me just in case check. We're going to really check and we're going to see what our brother Sterling is doing right now. We're going to rate him and we're going to yes, we're going to rate him. Thank you. Truly thank you. Okay. There it is. We're rating him. Remember, be thankful, as everybody else is. Why? Because it never hurts to be thankful. It is the only thing that can keep us afloat. With the red message copied for those who want, we shall now raid. Do not worry. Thank you for being present. And as I have said, even if you weren't completely able to find anything, just hearing the words means a lot. Thank you. Thanks you, dear. Really thank you.